You know, right here on our planet, there exists a civilization that's over 130 million years old. They've managed to survive mass extinctions, they've colonized every single continent except Antarctica, and they've built an empire so vast and powerful, it operates almost completely under our radar. So today, we're going to pull back that curtain on the true hidden rulers of Earth. And the sheer scale of their empire is, well, it's truly mind-boggling. So, what is this number you're looking at? That is 20 quadrillion. It's a figure that's almost impossible to really wrap your head around. But according to a major census in 2022, this is our best guess for the total number of ants alive on the planet right now. That means for every single one of us humans, there are roughly 2.5 million of them. Just let that sink in. And it's not just about the numbers. I mean, if you could somehow gather up all the ants on Earth and put them on a giant scale, their combined weight, their carbon biomass, would be around 12 megatons. And here's the really crazy part, as you can see here, that single group of insects, it outweighs all the wild birds and mammals on our planet combined. Their global footprint is just staggering. So, how in the world did they achieve this level of dominance? Well, the secret isn't in how strong one single ant is, because honestly, they're pretty vulnerable on their own. Nope, the key lies in their incredible social organization, a concept that scientists have a really cool name for, the super-organism. Think of it this way, a superorganism is basically a whole colony that acts like one giant living creature. It makes complex decisions, it adapts, it responds to the world around it with a kind of collective intelligence that no single ant could ever have. The colony is the organism. The individual ant is just one of its cells. This right here, this is the evolutionary leap that made them so incredibly successful. And here's a brilliant example of how this actually works. An ant's job literally changes as it gets older. The youngest and most valuable workers stay deep inside the nest, where it's safe, taking care of the queen and the babies. As they age, they move on to construction and guard duty. And only the oldest, most expendable workers take on the most dangerous job of all, foraging for food outside. It's this, ruthlessly efficient system that's all about protecting the colony's future. Okay, so with this kind of organization, they've been able to develop technologies and strategies over millions of years that honestly rival our own. They are, in a very real sense, an ancient civilization of innovators. Let's dive into a few examples, because they are wild.
All right, first up, leafcutter ants. They don't actually eat the leaves they're so famous for carrying. No, they chew them into a pulp to grow a very specific kind of fungus, and that's their only food source. And they don't just farm it. They protect their crops from pests and mold by using antibiotics produced by bacteria that live right on their own bodies. It's a totally self-contained, perfect little agricultural system. And get this, they've been at it for something like 50 million years. To put that in perspective, our own agricultural revolution only started about 12,000 years ago. Yeah, you could say they had a bit of a head start. But okay, it's not just farming. In a parallel to our own history that is just stunning, they also figured out animal husbandry. So you've got tons of ant species that are basically tiny ranchers. They tend to these little herds of aphids, they protect them from predators like ladybugs, and in return, they milk the aphids by stroking them, which makes them produce a sugary liquid called honeydew. They'll even move their aphid herds to better pastures. It is a textbook case of domestication. But their genius isn't just in peaceful stuff. Like a lot of powerful empires, they've also perfected the art of war. And when it comes to organized warfare, the strategies and the sheer destructive power of some ant species are absolutely the stuff of legend. I mean, just look at the stats for a single raid by one species of army ant. They advance on a front that can be up to 20 meters wide, clearing an area of 1,500 square meters every single day. One raid can devour 100,000 insects, spiders, even small animals. It's literally a living tidal wave of predators sweeping through the jungle floor. And the specializations just get more and more extreme from there. Individual species hold some unbelievable world records. You've got the trapjaw ant, whose jaws snap shut at over 230 kilometers per hour, the fastest recorded movement in the whole animal kingdom. Then there's the bullet ant, with a sting so agonizing it's at the very top of the Schmidt pain index. And a queen of the common black ant lived for an insane 28 years in a lab, just pumping out babies for nearly 3 decades. So, okay, when you add all this up,
all these colonies with their farmers and ranchers and soldiers, you get this global force that is literally reshaping the planet. They are true engineers of our ecosystem. Let's circle back to that biomass idea for a second. This chart breaks down all land animal life by weight. That 20% chunk for ants, it's bigger than the slice for all vertebrates put together. That means every mammal, bird, reptile, and amphibian on land. It's just such a powerful way to see how significant they are.
And the impact they have, it's just profound. They move so much earth. They actually aerate the soil better than earthworms in a lot of places. They are essential for spreading the seeds of thousands of different plants. They're a natural global pest control service. Scientists have actually done experiments. If you take the ants out of an ecosystem, the whole thing starts to fall apart, almost right away. They're that important.
But like any massive empire, their incredible success has a flip side, a dark side. In our modern, connected world, this has led to a really terrifying new problem, the invasive supercolony. See, when some of these species get outside their native home, they can become just unstoppable. Fire ants from South America now cause over $6 billion in damage every year in the US alone. But even more incredible is the Argentine ant. In Europe, they've formed a single cooperative supercolony that stretches for 6,000 kilometers along the coast. Just try to wrap your head around that for a second. An ant from Italy recognizes an ant from Portugal as a sister. It's a continental takeover by one massive family. Which brings us to a really crucial question. As the youngest rulers of this planet, what can we learn from this ancient and incredibly resilient empire? Their successes, and even their failures, hold some powerful lessons for us.
And the thing is, we're already learning from them. Scientists who studied how ants find the shortest path to food created something called ant colony optimization. It's an algorithm that we now use to route internet traffic and manage delivery trucks. Their collective teamwork is inspiring swarms of tiny robots for search and rescue missions. Even architects are looking at their nests to design buildings that can cool themselves without any AC, all inspired by the brilliant design of an ant nest.
So, what's the big takeaway here? It's that they are so much more than just tiny insects. They're a 130-million-year-old civilization that has mastered collective intelligence, sustainable agriculture, and planetary engineering. As we continue to build our own complex global society, maybe the most important question we can ask ourselves is this: what can their story teach us about what it really takes to survive for the long haul?